The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl 60 champions. Congratulations to the Seahawks organization, the city of Seattle, and Seahawks fans everywhere, because this Super Bowl is well deserved. It is one of the most impressive runs I've seen, and entering the preseason, it's one of the most improbable runs to a championship across all four major North American sports this century. Yet, now that we're in February and the season's all done and settled, it feels like it should have been one of the more probable outcomes all along, which is a testament to how dominant this Seahawks team has been from the start of the season to the end of it. They finished atop a gauntlet of an NFC West. They beat up both of their NFC West rivals to get to this Super Bowl. Then they finished off this championship run with a defensive masterclass that epitomizes their claim and current status as the best team in the NFL. Now, many congratulations are in order to people throughout the Seahawks organization because it is a team as any other in the league this season. But I've got to start off with the people in this organization that have made this Super Bowl run feel more personal and full circle for me than any other Super Bowl run prior, to the point where it's already hit me that this is potentially the closest I'll ever get in my lifetime to feeling and experiencing my team win the Super Bowl as a Jets fan. And that starts, of course, with former Jets quarterback Sam Darnold. We already talked about his story in my last video, but he did it. He completed the ultimate comeback story to reach the pinnacle of the football mountaintop after being almost virtually out of the league. And he finished it off on the biggest stage by conquering his original demons that had defined his reputation for most of his NFL career to this point, that being the ghosts of past Patriots. And he did it by playing a clean game, 0 turnovers against these Patriots after 11 turnovers in his first 4 games of his career against them as a member of the New York Jets. It wasn't anything sexy, but he did what needed to be done managing this game. And when he needed to be special, like was the case in the de facto Super Bowl at this point against the Rams, he played the game of his life. He deserves this. He's going to be a story for so many young athletes out there as a role model of what you can do if you believe in yourself, even if nobody else around the world believes in you. And yeah, that's a testament to him, a testament to the Seahawks organization for believing in him. And I couldn't be prouder, man. He's the first one in the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl before Josh Allen, before Lamar Jackson, before Baker Mayfield. If you told me that 4 years ago when we failed him as a member of the Jets, I would think you are going crazy. For this to actually be real, it's incredible. It's incredible. Then there's Mike Macdonald, who I got to learn about when I was a student at the University of Michigan, and he was the defensive coordinator there, where I got to enjoy the fruits of his first batch of success at a marquee program where he built the Michigan defense back up and developed guys like Aiden Hutchinson en route to Michigan getting to its first ever college football playoff and beating Ohio State for the first time in a long time. I've been a supporter of him ever since, and it's been a pleasure to watch him succeed both with Baltimore and now Seattle. Within 2 years at both places too, and he's done it the same exact way, building up a defense that schematically produces time and time again into one of the most elite units in the league and developing players through and through, both through the on-field development and the off-field belief in themselves with his own culture that he's instilled. And that's shown throughout the Seahawks roster now, and it's played a big role in why Seattle, against all odds in the preseason, has able to turn the unexpected into what feels now like it should have been the expected all along, given Mike Macdonald's resume. And I couldn't be happier for him to watch this unfold. And so between my personal attachment to Mike Macdonald from my time at Michigan, and then Sam Darnold during my time in high school as an older Jets fan back in the day, to see them join forces here in Seattle, where I now live and work full time, and watch them firsthand achieve this level of success and go on this amazing season and postseason and Super Bowl run. It's been a privilege to be able to be in the city where this is happening and enjoy it all. I mean, cue the clips here. Right now. Right now. Right now! It's been so easy to feel a connection to the success that the Seahawks have, and it's why that this Super Bowl run feels like the closest it might ever be to experiencing my team win a Super Bowl. There's quite a few other connections, by the way, for me. Leonard Williams, another former Jet first round pick for us, had a lot of good years in New York. Jason Myers, he was a Pro Bowl kicker for the New York Jets. AJ Barner, he was on the Michigan National Championship team when I was still at the school there too. Yeah, there's so many, man. They all make it so easy to root for this team. But enough of my personal biases. Let's shine a light on the rest of this roster, starting off with this defense. And oh my God, their Super Bowl performance just epitomized who they've been all season long, of one of the most dominant defenses of this decade. Just a perfect follow-up to the LOB of the last championship team in Seattle by coming through as the MOB. And they did it the same way they've been doing it all season, going 15, 16 deep on this roster where everyone is chipping in, led by a scheme in Mike Macdonald that worked wonders yet again. They broke tendency in this game by bringing a lot more secondary blitzes in this one, and it worked from early on with Devon Witherspoon, who had only blitzed under 25 times in this season. He blitzed 7 times in this game. It got pressures on 6 of them, including 2 key third downs early on, and then the dagger pick 6 from Uchenna Nwosu later. But it wasn't just him in these pressure packages. It was just straight up pressure at the defensive line and this front 7 winning. It was undrafted rookie Riley Mills having a bull rush moment. It was Dalen Hall having 2 sacks on this D-line. It was DeMarcus Lawrence having his moment as well. And it wasn't just the pressure packages either. It was also this talent in the secondary. I mean, the Patriots tried at some point, once they realized they couldn't contain the Seahawks pass rush with their O-line, to just get it out into the flats and try and win in space with Ramondre Stevenson. And Josh Jobe was making sure that that was not going to happen. Patriots couldn't run the ball in this game either. A lot of unsuccessful runs, 31% success rate in this game. And not only that, a lot of negative runs, putting them behind the sticks. And that's thanks to Ernest Jones and Drake Thomas, these 2 linebackers, ball hawks in these rush lanes. Nick Eamon-Wari, the unique gadget guy that keys to this run defense as well, and the edges for not breaking contain. It was a lot harder for the Patriots to have to find any room on the outside running the ball compared to Seattle and Kenneth Walker, which is where they had their explosive runs in the game on the flip side. As a result, the Patriots were just playing this game out of 3rd and long, and against the Seahawks defense, that's just a recipe for disaster. Between the early pressure packages that were just confusing Drake May and this Patriots O-line early on, and then to the point where by the back half of the game, they were just playing blanket coverage, and the Patriots offense was just kind of a shell of itself, unable to exploit this Seahawks secondary with so many of its own guys like Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen and all these other ones. I'm not going to name them all, but it got to the point where everything the Patriots offense is known for, we just did not see in the first 3 quarters when this game was a game. There was no Drake May runs to extend drives on 3rd down. There were none of those explosive shots downfield outside of the sticks, aside from that one drive in the 4th quarter to really break this Seahawks defense open. And it was just a mix of pressure and containment, forcing these Patriots receivers and Drake May to win short intermediate against the Seahawks secondary. And between the lack of confidence May eventually had in his O-line and the disguises that Seattle was throwing, it was just outmatching. That's what it was. And as a result, there really wasn't much pressure on the offense in this game besides managing it and eventually getting enough on the board. Kenneth Walker did the job of getting enough production on the board. He was fantastic on those outside runs and working in space, both as a rusher and a receiver. He was basically the cause of all the explosives Seattle had, especially in a game where JSN was out injured for like a quarter and a half. And it didn't even really matter, which is crazy. Seattle's O-line as well, it's been solid all season long. In this game, it actually didn't have that great of a game, in large part thanks to the Patriots defense holding its own and doing everything it could with its own exotic pressure packages to get Seattle off the field a lot. But in the end of the day, like between enough Kenneth Walker explosives and that allowing Seattle to set up its explosive play action where that offense is at its best and where it was able to generate its lone touchdown of the game through the Sam Darnold play action fake to a wide open AJ Barner, Seattle's offense was eventually able to break the dam and pull through. Sam Darnold also deserves a lot of credit in that aspect because a huge part of why Seattle's offense was able to establish control, even though it did not play that great, was Darnold's ability to avoid the negative plays, especially under pressure. And that was a key difference in the constant struggles that Drake May and this Patriots offense faced, and the sporadic sparks that Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense had via Kenneth Walker or Cooper Kupp or AJ Barn or any of these other guys. Then there's the Seahawks special teams, which obviously deserves its own major shout out. Rashid Shaheed didn't have much effect in the return game in this one, but obviously his impact has been felt there all season long, most notably against the 49ers to start this postseason run for Seattle. Jason Myers set the record, 5 field goals made in the Super Bowl here. Kudos to him, although a lot of those were short to medium, but good old reliable kicker in him, going back to the Jets days, of course, wink, wink. And then Michael Dixon, oh my God, what an elite punting game for him. He played a huge role in allowing the Seahawks to control field position in this game, and even when Seattle was struggling offensively, they were constantly starting drives at like the 20 to 40, whereas the Patriots were constantly starting drives inside their own 20. And that ended up mattering as Seattle continued to stack up field goals in this game. And so over the course of 4 quarters, the Seahawks established themselves as the more complete team with the more elite unit defensively, and it's why they are Super Bowl champions. But even, I don't like the Patriots as a Jets fan with my biases. I don't want to discredit them and let this one bad game influence what all they accomplished this season. They deserve credit. The Patriots defense still had a hell of a postseason, including in this game. They frustrated the Seahawks offense most of this game. And even though it's going to be the Seahawks defense that gets the loudness of what their pressure packages did, the Patriots' constant blitzing did beat and exploit this Seattle O-line, especially its interior, and cause them to have to settle for so many field goals and get so many stops as well. And then obviously for Drake May and this Patriots offense, this postseason run was really tough. And that's probably going to feed into the narrative of them having an easy schedule that they were able to feast on. But no, let's not distract ourselves from the fact and discredit what the Patriots offense accomplished this season. They were still number 1 in EPA per play this season, number 1 in explosive play rate this season against decent defenses. And they deserve credit for that. Drake May deserved his MVP candidacy. Let's not discredit that. In the first season for Mike Vrabel, for them to go from 4 wins to 13 and a Super Bowl appearance, they deserve a round of applause for that. And to both teams, I want to say thank you. Thank you for producing the chaos and fun that this season provided, as we encountered a year where the typical quarterbacks and faces and teams that have defined this decade of football were generally not there in the postseason this time around. These were the new kids on the block, and in a year of uncharted territory, they chartered that territory because they were the most complete teams throughout this season that came to be realized in this postseason, and they both deserve their spot as champions of the AFC and NFC respectfully. Between them and all the other new kids on the block this year, I'm so grateful for all the special moments that they gave us this year. And I wish them all the best of luck, and I hope that they can sustain it next year and give us so many more in the years to come. But only one could be atop the NFL mountaintop, and this year, that was the Seattle Seahawks. Now, if you excuse me, I have a parade to catch.